In this episode, I want to give you some examples or show you the reality of what it is to actually run a detailing business and how things aren't always going to go your way and what you can do to navigate through those obstacles. And if you are looking to start or grow your detailing business, click the link down below and download my ultimate guide to starting your detailing business. There's over 10,000 words of pure content in this guide. It took me quite a bit of time to write this because there's a lot of information on there. So click the link down below, download it, and put it to use. Let's go ahead and get started with this episode. So the main reason why I wanted to make this episode was to simply, it's very easy to look on social media and be like, oh man, like everyone has it better than I do, right? Everyone has a more booked out schedule, or everyone is charging more than I am, or everyone else is working on better cars than I am, or everyone has better weather than I do in my area. Because, what you see on social media is just like a little glimpse of what that other detailer or whoever it is, and what they're doing and how they're running their business, right? And the reality is, like, you're never gonna see the full capacity of what their business is, right? You're not gonna see every pricing, every service, every car, every customer, every interaction. So, and not that it's misleading on what you see, but it's simply just a highlight. It's simply just the best part or a good part of their day, right? Like if someone says, "Oh, we're working on a $1,200 detail on a, I don't know, Corvette C8 or whatever." But the car before that, it was a interior cleaning that they underquoted, or the next job is just a seat cleaning on a Corolla, or so like you'll never see the full picture. And if you're not aware that that's a thing, well, then you just always think that like everyone else is doing so much better than you, and that's simply just not the case at all. So, for instance, I want to kind of look back at this specific week, or kind of over the last few weeks, and kind of show you another example of like why things don't always go in your favor. And when it comes to running a business, like that's just simply what's going to happen. And for you, like the best thing you can do is just navigate it the best you can. Like that's literally all it comes down to, because there's going to be a lot of things that are out of your control that the only thing you can do is be proactive in how you react, but you can't anticipate something's happening, or you can't predict something are going to happen and not let it happen. So for instance, like 2 weeks ago now, we had a tropical storm Beryl here in Texas, Southeast Texas. And that one, so it initially was like not supposed to be that bad, but you know how weather is very unpredictable. And last second or last minute, it went in a different trajectory and it hit our area. Now, when it hit, it wasn't a actually, I don't think it was a hurricane. But anyways, when it hit, there were, at the peak, it was 2.1 million customers in Houston without power, right? Whether it's home, apartments, buildings, whatever. But 2.1 million customers were out of power. And like, thankfully at our apartment, we never lost power. But at the shop, there was no power for 4 days. Lex had a power, and then 2 days after the storm, he lost power for 2 days. Angel had it the worst, where he was out of power for almost 6 full days. So that, like, let's say Beryl hit on Monday morning, and Monday evening, like at 5 p.m., I came to the shop to check on things. Right? Is there any leaking? Did anything break? Did anything flood? And everything was fine. That whole week, Beryl hit Monday. It was over by Monday evening, right? As far as the storm, not the consequences of the storm, not the effects of the storm, but the storm itself was over by Monday afternoon, Monday evening, right? So we had a booked out schedule that same week, right? Like Tuesday, we already had plenty of cars. We had correction, coating, window tint. Wednesday, I had a booked out schedule with a smoke odor removal and whatever. Like it was a fully booked out schedule. And in that regard, it's like, well, what do you do, right? And again, like with 2.1 million people without power, people aren't thinking about getting the car detailed. Now, the Tuesday customer, one of the customers that we spoke to, he's like, hey, if you guys have power, like I'll still drop off my vehicle. But even with that one, he was like, hey, I don't have much signal over here. So if you don't see me message you, then like just assume that like I didn't get the message. So please let me know. Like, so even with him saying, hey, I'll still drop it off, he was still having trouble just sending messages to us because like a lot of things were down. So with that one, it's like, okay, we can't do it, right? Now we had, and I posted it on Instagram that like we were out of power, and they're like, well, why don't you just use generators to work? And it's like, bro, like that's not a priority on anyone's list right now, right? Grocery stores are down, buildings are down to power, like clinics, hospitals, emergency rooms, like getting your car detailed is just not something that we're prioritizing, or many people are prioritizing right now. So what we did was we reached out to, well, first of all, that whole week from Tuesday to Saturday, basically, there was no work because we didn't know when we were getting power. I would come back every day for power, like hoping that we would arrive to the shop with power, and we wouldn't have power. I came Monday, no power. I was okay for sure Tuesday, because typically our shop is good at keeping power when the storm comes. Like the shop usually gets power put on pretty quickly, but this time it simply didn't. So I came Monday evening, no power. I was okay. Tuesday is gonna have power. We came Tuesday, no power. We come Wednesday, no power. We come Thursday, no power. It's not until Thursday, like at 3 p.m., that we get power, and we're like, there's just power at the shop. Now that's power at the shop. Lex still didn't have power, and Angel still didn't have power. So Thursday we got power in the evening, but it's not like we just, oh cool, like we're back to business, right? Because at the time that the shop got power, there were still 800,000 customers without power, and again, like, things weren't, quote unquote normal as far as like, oh, everyone's back to work and everything's open and we're all moving and grooving. Like it wasn't like that. Like even when you were trying to look for like fast food around here, most of the things would still be closed. So like you'd have to go to the grocery store and get food, or like drive out further to look for food. Like a lot of things were still very close. So they just like at that point, I just kind of say, okay, like this week is gone. We're not saving this week. So what we did was like from Monday, we just started Monday. We started reaching out to customers to say, hey, like right now we don't have power. We don't know when we'll have power. Let's just reschedule for next week. And I want to say like 90% of the customers rescheduled. There were some customers that just flat out canceled. But again, like it's a tropical storm that knocked out 2.1 million customers. Like a lot of people with Headspace are not like, oh man, like I want to reschedule this so bad. No, like the houses got knocked down, roofs got knocked down, cars got destroyed, cars got flooded. Like people's friends and family members need help, and there's so much going on that like detailing just wasn't a thing. So with that one, it's like, well, what's the most that we can do? Again, like this is out of our control in terms of I can't dictate when the power comes back on. I can't dictate what other customers have going on in their life in terms of like, oh, well, can they still make their schedule? Like that's just not happening. So with that one, the whole week went away. Like it was just gone. Like we did nothing. Let me check if yeah, I always got to check if the podcast is still recording. So with something like that, it was just gone, right? And the thing that, like another, fortunately for us at the apartment, we still had power. So we were never out of power. But at the apartment, the Wi-Fi was down the entire week. I think for almost like maybe like 12 days, our Wi-Fi was down. So we had power, but we had no Wi-Fi. So again, I'm very fortunate that we had power. But in terms of like still trying to work throughout the week and like trying to have a sense of like normalcy in terms of work, I couldn't do anything at the apartment because there was no Wi-Fi. Our service was down. Like everyone in our area, there was no Wi-Fi available. So I would have to come to the shop where we had no power. But if I plugged the Wi-Fi into my electrical generator or my generator, the Wi-Fi would work. So I had power at the apartment, but no Wi-Fi. But at the shop, I was able to get Wi-Fi, but we didn't have any power. So to do whatever little work I could, I would come to the shop and I would work outside in the shop. It was hot outside, but like I tried to make it work to where like I would still come to work out. I'd still work that, like even though we were out of power every single day, I'd still come to work out. So there's a lot of things that went our way in terms of like I have a lot of camping stuff. So as far as like cooking on the stove, we had a generator, and like we were still able to like function in the shop in terms of like just necessities of like washing your hands. I have a portable hand washer thing. So thankfully I had all of that. So like I would hook up a fan to the generator and I would, point it towards me as I try to do like minimal work on the laptop. But obviously like it wasn't ideal because like we're at the shop because the whole time I'm waiting for the shop to turn on. So I I want to be there when the power comes back on. So the whole time like I'm doing whatever little work I can. The laptop is overheating, and it's just things are not going in my way at all because there's no like, and not just me, like everyone doesn't have, like a lot of people don't have power. Again, and thankfully I have power at the apartment, but like I'm at the shop trying to get back to like the rhythm of things, and it's simply not working out. So it's like, there's no marketing going on. The emails, the calls, the customers, the walk-ins, they're non-existent because no one is thinking about it, right? So for that whole week, I mean, maybe we got like one call a day, maybe it was an email or two that came in. When we're typically used to getting like maybe 5 to 15 calls or emails a day. We might get one a day, right? And like what power do we have over that, right? Like if we're running Google Ads, if we're spending $10 a day, if we increase it to $100 a day, does that change anything? No, because like that just no one has detailing top of mind during times like that, right? If we're posting on social media and I post 4 times a day trying to get more leads, does that change anything? Well, no, because like that just people aren't grounded in terms of like, oh yeah, let me get my car detailed. Like they need power to go get, to go back to work or power to not let their food go to waste. They need power to for their electric stoves, or they need to go buy propane. Like detailing is just not at top of mind. So with something like that, the whole week was gone. Again, 90% of our customers did reschedule for the following week, but then that means the following week, which was last week, it's just that more busy now, right? Because now we have to try to squeeze in all the previous week customers to next week, and then like it's a lot of work. And with something like that, like you have no control over that. Like there's nothing you can do other than do your best to like adapt to the situation and like just do the best you can, right? Like there is no like playbook of like, oh, so this is exactly how you manage this situation. It's like, no, like you just do the best you can. And yeah, that's all you do, right? Like even this is maybe like a month or two ago, we had a just a crazy storm that just came through like out of nowhere. A storm came through, and it was heavy rain. It was heavy gusts of wind. Our shop power went out for a little bit, for maybe like an hour or two, and hail was coming down. And with that, like everyone was running to the cars to get them in the shops. And like with something like that, like you're not worried about working, right? We even told the customer like, hey, we lost power. Like, we're gonna have to keep this car to tomorrow because we were out of power for a few hours. Like it was the harshest, craziest hail I've heard here, like in Houston, like hitting our shop, because like it was some strong hail. Like everyone rushed to the cars to get in the shops. Like it was pretty bad. And I posted that again on social media when it was happening, and people are like, oh, can't you just use your generator to or like they're like, you should get a generator to keep on working. It's like, bro, like with how crazy it sounds out there and like how everyone's taking shelter, no one's worrying about getting the car detailed, dude. Like it's not a thing, so it's like with things like that, like you have no control over that. Like there's nothing you can do. You can only just be as proactive as you can, right? And try to manage what you have going on with your customers, with the work. Like when before the Saturday before Barrel, Barrel was gonna hit Monday. That Saturday before Monday, like we even called the customer, cause we could have kept it was a smoke odor removal. We could have kept it longer to run more ozone treatments, but we were like, hey customer, come pick it up, just because like when Barrel hits, we don't want to hold your car and be liable for anything. So better you come pick it up, go drive it around. If the odor comes back, like please let us know and we'll run more treatments. But like we told the customer, like, hey, it's better you come pick up your car right now, just because when Barrel hits, like if you need your vehicle, you have your vehicle. We don't want to have your vehicle here and then like something happened around here. So it's better you just come pick it up. So there's like that's how we are. Again, like if we were mid detail, what we do, well, we'd probably hold it, but we try to, like do something to kind of put it in a better position to where if something were to happen, I don't know, like it's in a better position than if we didn't do it, So that whole week was gone, no revenue that week. No one worked that week. And again, like it's not like it was just us. It was like a majority of Houston did not go to work, did not have a regular day, did not have a regular week, did not make money that week, or did not clock in that week, or that was most of Houston was impacted by Barrel. So it's like, what do you do then? So that's that week, right? And again, like that's just the reality of running a business and a weather having a dramatic impact on your business and what you do. And again, like that was a pretty extreme case in terms of like Barrel knocking out 2.1 million customers of power and some of those customers not having power for 9 days. But then it could be, just heavy rain for a full day and the streets flood. Okay, that's different if you're mobile detail, right? That's still weakens your day by a lot, or maybe a few days out of your week. It's like it kind of really kills your schedule. Whether it's snowing, whether it's a cold front, whether it's a whatever, like the weather is going to affect your business. Some more than others, obviously, but it's like weather is going to play a big factor into how you run your business. So then the next thing we can talk about is like this week here. This is not barrel related, but it's just one of those truths of like, this is just what happens when you run a business. So we the schedule was it wasn't fully booked out, but it was like there was plenty of work to do, and depending on how the days go, we can book out more, right? So we had like, let's say a full tent job. We had a correction, 2 correction encodings, but one of the correction encodings also has an interior cleaning, window coating, and a few other things, right? And just coincidentally, both Lex and Angel are sick that week as well. Okay, or this week. So Angel's able to like kind of just limp himself through Tuesday to do the window tint job. But he's like, hey guys, like I'm really feeling sick right now. Like I don't know about tomorrow. And we're like, okay, well just let us know. Like no, like even if like we wouldn't let him come back to work anyways. Like if he's sick, like you don't force yourself back to work. Like stay home and rest, right? Even if we have a booked out schedule, even if we're fully like, you're not gonna come in. You're gonna stay home and rest because that's just why you have to stay home and rest. So he didn't come in Wednesday, and then surely enough, Lex also gets sick, and he's not as bad as Angel, but on Wednesday he's not able to come in the morning. He doesn't come in till like maybe 12 o'clock. And again, there's 2 cars that need to get corrected, coated, window coating, interior cleaning. Like there's a lot going on, and not that it's a lot of work in terms of like, oh man, like this is the most work we've ever done. But it's a lot of work in terms of like not having the team you're supposed to have there, that we're supposed to like, knock this out. Then it becomes a lot of work because now Angel's not there. Lex is supposed to be there, but he's not able to come until 12. And when he gets here, he's still a little kind of under the weather. So he's not moving at full capacity. And I'm there, doing the best I can. But I also have my other responsibility with content, with courses, with everything, with Jobber, with all these. And I have my own tasks to do as well. So it's like, it's a big cluster of like, just a lot of things are going wrong to where not everything can be at full capacity. So obviously I stay working on the cards because, those have to get turned in on time. But that, leaves a lot of things on my plate on the social media things that leaves a lot of things on the wayside because I can't get to them. And again, if we were all here working, it's like, oh yeah, we could finish this Denali in like, a day and a half. And okay, boom. Then we can start booking in more jobs because we have more time now. We can book something for Friday and Thursday. But because we didn't have everyone here and because everyone's moving a bit slower, it's like, okay, well now we're only focusing on this car right now. So, the vehicles still get done in time. Like we're still good to go. But it's like a lot of other things. Again, like I could have been doing a lot of other stuff, whether it's social media, whether it's website, whether it's marketing, whether it's whatever. That all that just got thrown to the side this week. Like that, none of that got worked on, right? Lex wasn't able to book out any more cars because like there was no stability in terms of like, is Angel coming back? Lex, are you still with it? Are you going to be able to be here? Like are you so like, there was no extra cars booked in because again, like we didn't know what was going to happen. Like we weren't going to book in any tent jobs for sure because we never knew how Angel was progressing with his health, right? So again, like these are things that you can't. What do you do in the situation? It's not like you can just be like, oh well, no, I'm gonna still run it 100% and booking all those jobs and I'll handle all the customers and I'll talk to everyone and it can't work that way, right? So this week, although the cars that were got scheduled, like it was nowhere near as maximized or optimized as it could be if we were all here working, right? Like all this work here would have probably got done by what's today? Today's Friday. Most of this work would have been done by Wednesday evening, freeing Thursday and Friday. Now, again, like it kind of helped that we didn't overbook for Friday because, again, like everyone got sick. Everyone, like, Lex was coming in super late. He wasn't at his full capacity because he was sick. Angel didn't come in at all other than Tuesday. We still don't know if he's going to come in tomorrow. Like, and we're not pressuring him to come, right? Like if he's sick, like you're sick. No matter how bad it gets over here, if you're sick, it is not right for you to get out of bed and come and try to work, especially if you're still sick. You're not going to be at full capacity and you might get us sick. So like you're going to stay home. Right. And stuff like that just happens. Right. This impacted the entire week. All right. But we did the cars that we had, but like it could have been a lot more. We could have booked more. We could have done more, but we just simply couldn't. I could have done a lot more throughout the week in terms of the marketing and the social media and things that I have to do, but I simply didn't. Most of my time was just spent detailing cars. And okay, what do you want me to do with that? That's simply what it does. And again, these are just, specific examples because they recently happened, but like this happens all the time. Not to this severity, not to this degree, but what I'm saying is like there's a lot of times where again, like even we were working on I forget, it was an interior, I believe. What was I fixing? I was fixing the key fob. So we were working on an interior, and it was like it was pretty standard. Like the day was pretty standard, nothing crazy. We had like 2-3 jobs. It was fine. I helped them out a little bit, but nothing crazy. But then the key fob, it didn't break. But I think when the customer brought it to us, like it was already very, very fragile. And when we turned the key in the ignition, it kind of just snapped. Now, nothing broke, right? Because you could tell nothing broke. You could just tell it was already very weak when they gave it to us. So I spent like an hour trying to put the key fob back together. I watched videos, I did all this, and I was able to fix it. But that was like an hour, just like, oh, here I am, like instead of maybe responding to emails, doing something like doing whatever I'm supposed to be doing. Like I'm spending an hour fixing this key fob, and I did fix it, and we fixed it better than how it came here in the first place. But that's something that just like that's just a problem that we didn't necessarily cause because the key fob itself was already very weak. But like we did, in fact, not break it, but like it did come undone. And we had to spend the time to put it back together. I mean, now if a key fob comes to me, like it might take me like 10 minutes to fix it now. Because I learn and watch videos and such. But things like that, right? Another one was like maybe the electrical reel out there, it got stuck. It would no longer go forward or backwards. Like the cords inside the reel just like interweaved each other, and it got stuck. So if that one, like, okay, pull up all, it's pretty easy. Just take off all the screws and like make it undone. But then the bit that I have for the drill, it was too thick for the hole where the screw was. So I was like, oh, okay, now it doesn't fit. So instead I took a drill bit and I made the hole bigger. That way my drill screw would fit, would reach the actual screw to make the case, undo the case. And again, like that took like 40 minutes to do, right? And again, like there's a lot of other stuff I could be working on instead of fixing this one little thing, but like that's what you have to work on, right? Again, these are just examples that I'm giving you now, but like that is the reality of like running a business, and when you're doing things by yourself, like things don't seem as like because you're doing everything yourself, so things don't seem as dire because like, oh well, I'll just wait to the end of the day. But when there's a lot more calls, a lot more emails, a lot more customers, there's more walk-ins, there's more cars on the schedule, there's more services to be done, there's more things you have to order, there's more material. There's a lot of things that like you have to get done, but like if just whatever happens, like, oh, well, that has to now take priority. Like maybe I have to go and edit a video and post a video, but like, okay, I'll do that tomorrow now because, that interior took a lot longer. Or maybe I was supposed to record this whole detail, but I actually put the camera down because there was just way too much work, and like I was moving too much to like really even make a video, right? Or hey, I thought we were gonna be able to book in another car on Friday, a full tint, but nah, this car's taking too long. We'll need tomorrow morning to finish it off as well, and that tint job will take all day, so let's not book that in until next week, actually on Wednesday instead of this Friday. So like that's just the thing that you have to juggle at all times. Like that's like if your business grows, which is great, that's always a goal. But when your business grows, so does the problems, right? The bigger your business grows, the more problems you'll take on, right? Like if you're used to doing, it doesn't matter whatever you're used to doing, whatever you're doing. If you were to double that or triple that, a lot of things will break in your business, right? And I don't mean like your polisher break, but I mean like if you're used to like, oh, like, I get there at, I start working at 8 a.m. and I take an hour break and I'm done by 5 p.m. and I have 2 calls to make. And then if you were to like double or triple your business right now and you just double or triple everything, you couldn't do the same thing anymore. You'd have to, I have to get there a little earlier. I have to get there, stay there a little later. Or I have to work a little bit faster. Or I have to make calls throughout the day. I have to do. I need this, and a lot of things because you're just simply not used to that level, basically, right? So things change in your business as you get more things. As your business grows, you just get more growing pain. That's all it is. Like the problems never leave. Right? You have problems when you're first getting started and you're making under $1,000 a month. You'll have you'll have the same amount of problems when you're at $10,000 a month, and you'll have the same problems when you're at $25,000 a month, and you have the same problems when you're at $50,000 a month. Why? Because the problems are always there. It's just the magnitude of those problems or the type of problems that you have are different from when you're making $1,000 a month or $25,000 a month. Right? Those two things are going to be different, but the problems are always going to be there. Just a different type of problem. Hopefully, this shines some light into say like, look, not every detailer is having the fantastic day or week, right? Not every detailer is having a record-breaking week. Not every detailer is just on top of the world every single day. Everyone has their own challenges to go through, right? Well, depending on where you are in your business, where you live in terms of state or area, because if you live in the colder areas, it's much different than if you live in the hot areas, right? So everyone has their own things to go through, and it is your responsibility as the business owner to navigate the best way you can. There's no perfect way. There's just the best way you can at the time with the information that you have to make the best decision for your business, for your team, for your customers, for your clients, and whatever. Like that's all you can really do. Hopefully you learn something, and I'll talk to you on the next one.